Oh, baby. Special guest Saturday. We haven't had one of these in a couple of weeks, but we got our main man, Seth Diewold. You can find him over at the Dynasty Roundtable Show and on Seth Diewold at YouTube and Seth Diewold on X at Seth underscore Diewold. Seth, we're here today talking about 8 sleepers heading into the 2025 NFL Draft. I'm Cody Carpentier with the Draft Rankings Show every single morning, 7 a.m. Eastern Time. Tap in, lock in, subscribe, click that like button, leave a 5-star review. Seth, I'm going to jump right into this damn thing. Give us your first sleeper as we head into the NFL Draft.
I'm going to give a super flex sleeper, and that would be Dylan Gabriel. So a little bit undersized. We've never seen an undersized quarterback succeed in the NFL before, right, Cody? Especially in 2024, when it's almost impossible to hit the quarterback. So there's no chance that this guy can be successful, even though, 3,653 passing yards his freshman season at UCF, and then goes on to just put up monster years at Oklahoma and Oregon. Got better and better and better every year with his accuracy, with his deep ball. He's one of the better deep ball throwers in this draft class, actually, according to PFF. He's number 9 in deep ball in their deep ball passing grade. So when you're looking for a quarterback later in your rookie drafts, and Dylan Gabriel might not go until the 3rd, 4th, 5th round in the NFL draft. We'll see where he goes exactly. You can do a whole lot worse than Dylan Gabriel.
All right, number 2, I'm going to go to a running back. And this one, like to me, and in the ecosystem of looking at draft prospects, it shouldn't be a sleeper. But when you actually go look at keep trade cut right now, where these rookies are kind of being valuated, one guy that in NFL draft circles is looking at like a 4th, 5th round pick, very strong running back in the SEC. Jarquez Hunter is not even in the top 20 right now over on Keep Trade Cut for this rookie class. Jordan James, Jaden Blue, Donovan Edwards, Brashad Smith, LaQuint Allen, all guys listed in the back end of the teens. No Jarquez Hunter. I think that's a colossal mistake. Jarquez Hunter's a guy, he goes into the combine, 5'9", 204. Mind you, that's an inch taller and only a few pounds lighter than Ashton Genty. And Jarquez runs a 4.44. He had a 1,000-yard season. He had 24% of the team's output this past year. I comp him to Blake Corum. I mean, we're missing out here if you're not getting Jarquez Hunter here as a sleeper going into the draft.
My second sleeper, we're going to the wide receiver position, and the wide receiver from Maryland, Ty Felton. I don't know if anybody really expected this guy to run a 4.37 at the NFL Combine. I know I certainly didn't. And then when you turn on the film, just a silky smooth route runner, had over 1,100 receiving yards at Maryland with some pretty subpar quarterback play. And this is another one of those wide receivers that I think he's not the same as Jalen Noel. Like, he's more of an outside wide receiver, but I think he can play some slot as well. And he might even be a better fit in the slot in the NFL. So I think that there's a lot of upside here with Ty Felton, especially when you look at the athleticism scores. You go to Player Profiler, his best comparable player is Bo Melton. And in another universe, Bo Melton might be one of these guys that if he found the right landing spot with some opportunity, he might have been really successful. So Ty Felton, wide receiver from Maryland, is my pick.
All right, my second one, I'm going to go wide receiver. I'm going to go Washington State, other side of the country from Maryland and Ty Felton. Kyle Williams, 5'10", 182 pounds. He blazed with a 4.40 40. He's 24 years old, almost actually over a 2.71 yards per hour run this past season, 34% of his team's production in 2024. Kyle Williams is a guy rising and rising and rising through the pre-draft process. This is a guy, if you go back to late January, nobody was mock drafting this guy to even get drafted. If you go to mock draft database, he was picked 567, which, as most of you know, that doesn't exist in the NFL draft ecosystem. He's now all the way up to pick 109. And when you look at the wide receiver position this year, it's a class full of twos. It's a class full of guys that are fine, but not elite. Kyle Williams has some great traits, some good speed, and he also is not in the top 15 on Keep Trade Cut at the wide receiver position.
For my next sleeper, I'm going to go to running back. And this guy, I don't know why we're not talking about him more. He's my RB 14, and that's way ahead of consensus, and that's Taj Brooks. Back-to-back seasons with over 1,500 rushing yards, over 10 touchdowns, 18 touchdowns this year, back to back seasons with over 20 receptions, at least 27 receptions, playing at Texas Tech. He's 5'9", 214 pounds. And you start to look at the athleticism, even though it doesn't really, you watch the film and you go, oh, this guy's not really that fast, but he ran a 4.52. And what really stands out is his agility. The agility score is elite. And I just like his game. You watch the film and he's just a good player that kind of gets lost in this super deep running back class. And so in the third, fourth round of your rookie drafts, if Taj Brooks is sitting there, that's a home run pick for me in that stage of the draft because, like I said, these running backs are insane, and I wish he would have come out in a better or in a not as good of a class, so there'd be more of a shine on Taj Brooks. But because we're in the situation we're in, you can scoop up a real value in this player. So Taj Brooks for me.
Before I get to my next one, I just want to remind you all to click that like button. Please click subscribe here every single day at 7 a.m. Eastern time. And number 2, I'm going to put a card at the top of the screen right here for you to go subscribe to Seth's channels. The Dynasty Roundtable every single week he does with Matt Babich, as well as his own YouTube channel, Seth Diewold on YouTube. I'm going to put the cards right above, so make sure you click that button when you tap in here. All right, my third one is going to be a tight end. This time I'm going to go Jalen Conyers from Texas Tech. This is a guy, again, you check out Keep Trade Cut, name does not even show up among the tight end grouping. Jalen Conyers is a guy that was at Arizona State for a couple of years, goes to Texas Tech this last season. The one note here, and again, we're digging deep here on the tight end position. Jalen Conyers was at the Shrine Bowl this year. He looked good. He comes in about 6'4", 255 pounds. I think he might have weighed in actually at 260 at the NFL Combine, ran a 4.74 at tight end. This guy's going to get drafted round 5, round 6. I don't know if it's going to be the Chargers, the Vikings, somewhere like this where he can go in. He's not going to do anything on day one. Here's the thing, right? This is going to be a guy that comes in, marinates. He had 3 seasons with 30-plus receptions in college. Jalen Conyers, I'm looking for upside here, and I'm looking at using one of those 5th round, 6th round rookie picks on Jalen Conyers. And in the FFPC, hell, I might use a 7th round pick on him.
This is why I love talking to you, Cody, because you get names like Jalen Conyers. I'm going to throw out another tight end prospect that is also kind of getting lost in the shuffle. We all know about Colston Loveland, Harold Fannin, Tyler Warren, but I don't think enough people are talking about Oronde Gadsden from Syracuse. He has 2 seasons with over 900 receiving yards, and he came off of this might have been a much better story if he wouldn't have had a Liz Frank injury that he recovered from and then went on to catch 72 passes, 922 yards, 7 touchdowns in his final year at Syracuse. And he's one of these tight ends that's actually more athletic than Harold Fannin. I know he didn't participate in the NFL Combine, but 4.64 projected 40-yard dash, so he's more athletic than you think, and he's just a jack of all trades tight end. He's good at everything. When you go to PFF, his grades are solid, and he's not going to be a liability in the blocking game. You probably don't want him to line up in line right now and help in pass protection. But I will say that Syracuse increased his inline snap percentage all the way up to 32%, I believe from 8%. So they clearly saw something that they wanted to develop him as more of an inline tight end. So he's just a really solid player that at this stage in the game is probably going undrafted or pretty close to undrafted in rookie drafts. And certainly in dynasty startups, I think the last time I checked, he was in the 400s in Keep Trade Cut. So clearly if he's not being drafted in dynasty startups, and I think he deserves more attention because of the athleticism and because his overall game is really good as a pass catcher, and he's developing as a blocker. So he's becoming a more well-rounded player. So Oronde Gadsden, Syracuse, he deserves more attention.
All right, so I had my man Seth on the show today, and I had to finish this thing out with our 8th sleeper. His name is Seth Hennigan, the quarterback from Memphis, 6'3", 215 pounds. He's the only quarterback in Memphis history to win 10-plus games in consecutive seasons. This guy's had 50 games played in his time at Memphis, 14,266 yards, and 104 touchdowns for Seth Hennigan. Not Seth Diewold, Seth Hennigan at Memphis there. So he had a good Senior Bowl. This guy's going to get drafted in the late part of the draft in a class with the quarterback group that is underwhelming. Give me Seth Hennigan in the late part of the draft. And remember to go follow Seth Diewold on YouTube and on X, Seth Diewold. You can see the logo. I think it's blue with a red imprint of his head. Go check him out. He just released a mock draft yesterday. He's doing rookie mocks all the time. Seth, thank you for tapping in. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for doing the damn show, my brother. I appreciate you and I love you.
Love you too, man. Thank you so much for having me on.